Olá, bem-vindos mais uma vez ao canal. Sou Marcelo Amazonas e você está assistindo ao Ad Libitum. O episódio de hoje é o primeiro de duas partes de um assunto que eu considero bastante especial: a maestria sem esforço. Mais do que um conceito, essa é uma filosofia que propõe uma verdadeira mudança de paradigma, uma filosofia que se concentra no resumo do que a música realmente é, uma comunhão espiritual. Essa filosofia foi apresentada há mais de 20 anos pelo pianista, compositor e educador musical Werner no livro dele Effortless Mastery, ou Maestria Sem Esforço. Conforme escreveu Quincy Jones, numa resenha, esse livro ensina pra gente que o prazer de estudar, o prazer de praticar algo, está na concentração, e o prazer de tocar é a libertação, e o livro nos ensina a alcançar ambos no nível mais alto. Ainda acrescento que esse livro, ele também nos mostra como praticar de forma eficaz, de modo a promover o nosso conhecimento e o nosso desenvolvimento real como músicos e seres humanos. A ideia de que a gente pode dominar algo sem esforço pode parecer contraditória, uma vez que a gente sabe que, dependendo do assunto, isso pode levar anos de prática. E é por isso que eu também acho esse livro especial, porque ele olha para a prática musical de uma outra maneira, de um ponto de vista meditativo. Por isso que eu acho essa frase perfeita, né? A ideia de praticar algo está na concentração. E o tocar é a libertação, mas é uma maravilha mesmo tudo isso. A música é essa libertação, essa conexão com o todo, consciente, subconsciente e tudo mais. Esse assunto é uma maravilha, esse nosso canal, hein? É isso aí, eu espero que o canal possa ser sempre essa representação. Um canal de fato, uma via, um curso por onde as informações correm. É isso aí. Normalmente eu diria que eu estou especialmente inspirado, mas depois de ler e de reler esse livro várias vezes, eu posso dizer que eu me sinto mesmo iluminado por essas ideias. Veja, esse trabalho do Werner, ele tem ajudado muitos artistas, não apenas músicos, instrumentistas como a maioria de nós, mas também escritores, bailarinos. Por isso que eu considero esse livro dele simplesmente indispensável para qualquer artista. Eu já comprei o meu, comprei no Kindle, é bem mais barato e também chega na hora, Às vezes a gente começa a ler uma resenha, fica pego pelo livro, aí é só dar 2, 3 cliques e pronto, o livro já está lá pra gente. Eu, como sempre, vou deixar o link na descrição. O livro custa R$ 20 por essas informações. Eu acho de fato muito barato, Acho demais ter essas possibilidades. Enfim, o livro está em inglês, mas está num inglês e está numa linguagem bastante acessível, tá? Você também, se você não fala inglês, como eu sempre falo, você pode dar de presente para alguém que por esse preço aí fica bem mais fácil entrar na corrente, colaborar, empurrar o trabalho dessas pessoas. A gente sabe que tudo isso vai ecoando, vai voltando pra gente mesmo, como tá voltando agora através do canal aqui. Essa é a ideia, movimentando, espalhando, empurrando, ajudando. Então, se você puder, compra o livro, entra no canal lá, pelo menos vai curtindo, vai compartilhando e espalhando tudo isso. O livro também tem umas faixas de meditação que são muito legais, ajudam bem no começo. Você pode, se comprar essa versão digital, depois você pode baixar lá no site dele. Aliás, mesmo se você não comprar o livro, você já pode ir lá no site dele e baixar de todo jeito. Bom, isso aí, vamos avançar. Seguinte, essa proposta do Werner, ela se realiza em 4 passos, para a gente fazer essa reprogramação mental, como ele mesmo diz, Então, são 4 passos. Nesse primeiro episódio, eu decidi fazer como eu fiz lá com o Jacob Collier. Eu peguei o material que está disponível aqui no YouTube, canal Pianote. Eu vou deixar todos os links na descrição e tudo mais, como sempre. E eu legendei o Werner, ele mesmo explicando tudo isso. Eu só vou pontuando algumas coisinhas no decorrer do vídeo, Antes, eu vou aproveitar agora, vou fazer um resumo rápido, dessa proposta do livro. O vídeo que a gente vai ver é todo em cima do livro, Bom, e no primeiro passo ele mostra como a gente pode entrar num estado meditativo, um estado que ele chama de espaço. Como a gente vai ver, né? Ele cita bastante. A gente deve deixar compromissos, nossa vontade, preocupação, ambição, expectativa, deve se liberar de tudo isso para que a música possa fluir, acontecer. Depois, no segundo passo, a gente começa a tocar de forma livre no instrumento, permanecendo nesse espaço mental, meio que assistindo o que as mãos estão tocando. Aliás, só esse conceito já é uma ferramenta poderosa que ele cita lá no livro dele, né, A Prática de 5 Minutos, que inclusive foi algo que ele aprendeu com o grande pianista brasileiro João Carlos Assis Brasil. Aliás, põe grande nisso, né? Os dois ficaram amigos quando o Kenny veio aqui para o Rio durante alguns meses, ele fala dessas coisas. Depois ele tocou com o irmão dele, inclusive outro músico da pesada, Vitor Assis Brasil. Morreu novo, né? Jazzman brasileiro, enfim. Bom, passo 2, totalmente livre, se mantendo nesse espaço. Depois, no passo 3, a gente escolhe um exercício, uma música que possa ser tocada sem esforço. Provavelmente vai ser, claro, uma música que a gente costuma tocar bem fácil, não é as que a gente está mais acostumado, mas assim a gente pode avaliar o nosso nível real, a gente pode ver o que a gente domina, o que a gente é capaz de tocar de fato sem esforço. Aí depois, no quarto passo, ele mostra os caminhos de como praticar mesmo efetivamente para aprender novas músicas a partir desse nível, entendeu? E como dominar materiais mais difíceis com essa mesma facilidade. Isso tudo vale para composição, reharmonização, vale para os estudos e, enfim, vale para a vida. Bom, como o episódio é longo, vamos lá, sem mais delongas. Eu sugiro que você agora respire, relaxe, abra os seus sentidos e o seu coração para deixar toda essa luz que vem desse músico se espalhar sobre você, aliás, se espalhar sobre todos nós.
We've talked about so much already.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought maybe we could sort of go over some of the key points about your philosophy, how you flow into music like that, and what you've termed the space is.
Yeah.
Maybe let's just start there and
Yeah.
talk about the space.
Well, the space is a place beyond the conscious mind.
Okay.
As we talked about before,
Yeah.
most of the problems with playing come in the conscious mind. That's where jealousy, envy, measuring yourself against other people, measuring your value by how you play music,
Yeah.
The pressure to play better than you play, the pressure to make it happen by yesterday, all the things that make a musician's life much less satisfying than most people think it would be, is in the mind.
Yeah.
That's the good news. At least it's all in one place.
Yeah.
So you practice going to a space. There's nothing original about that except I call it the space. It's a non-denominational name for something that has a name in anywhere from neuroscience to psychology to Buddhism to, but for me it's a space. And what you have to do is focus on something beyond your mind.
Yeah.
When I talk about going into the space, as I said before, the easiest way to enter is just to stop and notice that you're breathing. So as soon as you have a thought, even like, wow, I'm really in the space, you're not noticing your breathing anymore. You're noticing your thought. So a good way to start is to just try that. Just notice your breathing. And as long as you keep your focus on that, you're actually not thinking any thoughts. For the purpose of music, you find that space. And then it's about introducing the instrument and other ways of finding the space. You could look at a spot on the wall or directly over your head, or think of the alphabet backwards. That gets a little confusing, but sometimes picture a beautiful place where you've been or you'd like to return to.
So are they tools to ground you in like your present environment?
That's the result, but they're tools to get you out of your conscious and subconscious mind.
Yeah.
It's the subconscious that fears music because of previous experiences. It's the conscious mind that fears it today because it may not be everything you want it to be.
Right.
And the question is, why does it have to be everything you want to be? And that question is answered more from the egoistic aspect of wanting to feel like a good musician. As soon as you call yourself a pianist or a drummer or whatever, the next question is unavoidable. Am I a good pianist? Am I a good drummer? And the problem is that in trying to answer that question when you're playing, first of all, you miss all the profound possibilities.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a narcissistic thing.
Yeah.
Do I sound good?
Yeah.
That's the first problem. But the other problem is you don't play as well.
Yeah.
The reason effortless mastery has such a solid identification with so many people is because you can ask, out of 100 people, 99 of them, if you ask them, think about a time when you felt it was really important you played well, how did you play?
Yeah.
Most people will say they could not access their most inspired playing, or they even played badly.
Yeah.
And then you say, think about a time when you think it didn't matter.
Yeah.
They say, I played better.
Yeah.
So that alone should prove to you that what you want to do is continue to bring down the sense of importance about what you're doing. And find a place where you're not really trying.
Yeah.
So the steps of effortless mastery are an attempt to reprogram.
Yeah.
So if I go into the space, if I start playing and I'm not used to that, I'm going to lose the space immediately to try to play something good.
Right.
So I need a point of contact. I have it for every instrument. It doesn't matter what instrument you're on.
Yeah.
So it starts by going into the space and then moving in a way where I can still focus. I choose to focus on the fact that I'm breathing. That immediately takes me into a space where I'm not thinking.
Yeah.
And then I feel, I guess it does bring in the moment, I feel the fingertips touching the keys.
Right.
And I'm still focusing on my breath. If I
Yeah.
started to focus on what I wanted to do, there would be a whole change in my body and mind. And I'll bet even
Go
a
up into your
chemical
head.
change. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I stay in this space, I feel the fingertips touching the keys, I lift a finger, and I play the note. And right there I go, am I now drawn into the music trap, or am I still focusing on the space? If I'm focusing on the space, I lift the next finger and I drop it.
Yeah.
That's where it all starts.
Okay.
It's learning to move, let the hand move, and keep the mind out of it.
Yeah.
And maybe for the first time, allow your hands. It's like you're the mother and your children have been out playing, but you've never taken your eye off them. And every 2 minutes you had an instruction, get off the swing, get off the thing, and now you're saying, go out and play.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of, instead of not being happy with anything you play, is the practice of being content with everything you play.
Yeah.
And people think that being content is not the way to change. It's just the opposite. As long as you're never happy with anything, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Starting from a place of contentment, letting music develop starts by being absolutely content with the contact point and you, and allowing things to move.
Yeah.
That's whether you're playing in a form. You may want to play 1,000,000 notes in that form, but maybe all that wants to come out is a few notes in that form. It's being attuned to how the body wants to play the instrument.
Yeah.
And it becomes more organic and definitely more authentic.
Yeah. So just at the beginning of this this lesson here, when he did that improvisation, it was fascinating to see how you kind of built into different layers of intensity. Does that feel any different when you, like, are you in the space at different depths there when you're kind of in this?
Yeah, I mean,
flow?
yes, it's very much when people are improvising, I say to them, don't let your ego get ahead of the fingers.
Right.
Because next thing you know, you feel like you're trying to catch up with something, catch up to something. And so I could feel that happening, and then I kind of pull back because I'm used to being in the space. So it'll affect my phrasing.
Right.
Actually, it didn't feel that organic because I thought to myself, I told you I would do that Keith Jarrett fan.
Right.
And when I did it, I actually didn't feel like doing it.
Oh, you got
which was weird. So
yeah.
I violated the thing myself.
Okay.
But then I accepted that I'm violating the thing.
Yeah.
There's always a reason to be discontent. You can even get into this new age headspace where like, oh, I'm not in the space.
Yeah.
And now you're fighting with that.
Right.
So the game is whatever your mind's telling you, go, thank you for that. I'm not in the space. Thank you for that.
Sure.
I'm not inspired now. Thank you for that.
Well, throughout this entire day, because we've been talking about this stuff, and we've been talking about the application not only for piano, but for guitar, for drums, and even just for life, like we've been talking about. And this kind of like running thought in my head has been learning to try to not try, basically. And you can kind of get
that's
stuck
where you
in that.
that's the tricky part.
That's the spider web right there.
Well, that's why you need a point of contact, and that's why the first step is the first step.
Okay.
If I say, wherever the hand goes, yes, yes. Like in the second step, you make sounds and you actually guide a little bit of thinking. You think, that's the most beautiful sound I've ever heard.
Yeah.
The equivalent of enlightenment in music is that every sound you make is the most beautiful sound you've ever heard.
Yeah.
So a melody, you only have trouble melody because you're fighting through your own judgment to try to make a melody.
Yeah.
That kind of discretion in a real-time situation, you just have to receive it.
Yeah.
And if there's something you don't like about it, you take care of that in your practicing.
Yeah. So it's a radical acceptance when you're in this kind of
Acceptance creates the flow.
Yeah.
You know, this is a beautiful sound, right? But so is this. And that was an accident. But those kind of accidents happen when you allow the thing to flow the way it wants to flow.
Yeah.
You get intuitions about how it might resolve that you weren't thinking about.
Yeah.
But when you try to create it from the beginning of the flow, it doesn't flow.
Right.
And when you follow the flow, it's quite profound.
You then get caught up.
To me, that's the actual excitement of music.
Yeah.
Is watch and jazz musicians, you see that they're willing to move. Now, of course, they've moved in those places before. There's no such thing as playing differently every time you play.
Sure.
That's a myth.
Yeah.
Because we're not computers. We only have a few ways of going through it.
Yeah.
But receiving it and go. If you don't like the way you go through it, you reprogram it and you're practicing.
Yeah.
And it takes time to reprogram where your hands would go.
Yeah.
But if you accept where your hands go. That stuff, I didn't, you know. Now, it's not magic because what you haven't practiced won't be played.
Right.
But when you think about it, it doesn't happen anyway. You try to play things that you haven't practiced, and it just sounds sloppy and out of control.
Yeah.
This way, the hands go where they want to go, and you have to allow them to go by receiving it.
Yeah.
So receiving one sound, or, you know, what is a melody? There's a melody. You want it to be more inside melody, more marketable, then you just keep it a little more diatonic.
Right.
Sudden I'm very harmonic, and inside I don't think inside outside. I put my hands down and they take me on a journey, and a lot of times it's contrast. Like I'm one of those guys when I go to a Chinese restaurant, I order sweet and sour. You know, and I was saying before I like salt, then I like sugar, then I like salt. I like inside, outside, inside.
Sure.
I like the tension and release. But I'm on the toboggan. I'm not driving it.
Right. Yeah.
And what comes out is what I prepared in my practicing. I mean, it's no accident I can play on tunes. It's just going to flow more if I allow my hands to do it.
Yeah. These, like, pieces, and then they flow together in whatever way they flow together when you're in this.
Well, you prepare a language. I prepare a language.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a rhythmic language, a time signature, or a certain rhythm. The idea is whatever I practice, you know, this is how they work together. When I practice new stuff, I don't want it to become more stiff because it's new stuff or more tense stuff. It doesn't matter how complex the music is. I'm not ready to perform it until it plays itself.
Well, we have talked about how practice and this kind of mindset are two separate things, right?
Practicing and playing are very separate.
Okay.
If your practicing is inspiring, you should be suspicious.
Okay, there we go.
You're probably not getting anything done.
Yes.
And also, practicing, the less things you practice, the deeper you can get into them.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys are overwhelmed by the amount of stuff you're working on, and you don't know what to do first, and you know how long to do it. Well, once you establish an ease with the instrument, whether it's a drum, you know, if I had the drums, I would do it the same way, but of course I'm not a drummer. But it's the same thing. I go into the space, I pick up a stick. It's that I'm in the space. And I start to establish a place where my mind is at rest, my body is connecting with the act because my mind's not interfering. Now I start to test all the things I already know.
Yeah.
How well do I know them?
Yeah.
If I go into that space, can I play a beat?
Yeah.
If I go into that space, can I play that time or whatever? One level of player has to tense up in order to make it happen.
Right.
For another level of player, it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
So if he wants to sweat, that's fine. If he wants to dance, that's fine.
Yeah.
But he can connect with the universe while his body plays the beat.
Right.
That's what I call effortless mastery. There is mastery where people can play different styles or someone's very technical.
Yeah.
But then effortless mastery is that you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Say, what they're doing is amazing, but it looks like it's all pre-programmed. I would refer you to a couple of things. There's, and I mentioned them in my book, Vladimir Horowitz playing in Moscow. I think it was around 1980, perhaps.
Yeah.
Returning after the first, I won't spend a lot of time on it, but watch him as he starts playing this Scarlatti. He actually puts the body in a position to play the music, and then he watches.
Right.
It's very powerful. The language will come out as you receive the impulses of how you're going to play it. Is the message.
Right.
What it even means is not something to be thinking about at the time you're playing. Because you're superimposing something. So the most natural way to play is this instrument. You know, I am finally working on another book.
Yeah.
And after 20 years. And it's called Effortless Mastery 2, but becoming the instrument.
Becoming the instrument.
There's one thing much higher than being a player, and that's being the instrument. Because once you're the instrument, it just happens. Now, you can take that wherever you want. You can be, and many players you see, they are the instrument.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a sense of humor, maybe they're thinking about dinner later, maybe they're looking at someone in the audience and thinking about what might happen later. Maybe they're thinking about God. Maybe they're in the sphere, you know, in universal consciousness. All that's only possible when you're not down here managing the instrument. And all the performances that have inspired you, if you go back and look at them now with that thought in mind, you go, oh, there's it, there it is.
Yeah. This is something that is accessible to any skill
anyone.
level
And you
of
can
music.
take your first lesson and decide to own it rather than just fluff through it and go on to the next lesson. Decide, I want to know what it feels like for this to be in me. And then for like one beat, you're a drummer. Okay, now let's go on to the next lesson. One of the biggest abuses in education is how we move through the stuff without any ownership. You need to spend more time until, you know, this is just language. Just language and muscle memory. That, I mean, that was kind of art because I was kind of having fun with it. And I was enjoying the bounce, like dribbling a ball. I was enjoying the bounce. But you can't just enjoy it unless you've inputted that information. And that's why there's such a difference between practicing and playing. Playing is about receiving with love everything you're playing. Practicing is about inputting new information until it becomes part of your skills. You know, in music, boredom is the mother of invention, not necessity. The point is that if you're studying at home, you need to take whatever you play with concentration and take it deeper in so it plays itself. Then you can, if you're wondering, why don't I have that joy that I see people playing with? What's missing? Or even musicians, they've been lifelong musicians, but something's always been missing. What's been missing is you. You know? So in some cases, what's been missing is the foundation. If you never had to pay, and again, it's ego that would cause you to skip the foundation. Because you wanted to sound creative by day one. So you skip little things like 4-bar phrases, eighth notes. A jazz player, for example, if eighth notes aren't muscle memory in his or her right hand, then they're going to struggle with every tune. So And there's a conscious way of accruing eighth notes as a muscle memory.
Yeah.
That's for another day, because you really have to get into that subject. But you'll know when it happens, because you start moving your right hand and it plays eighth notes with good time.
Yeah.
Now you can apply them to this chord progression or that chord progression. But when this stuff gets out of whack, or you skip it completely, all there is a lot of scuffling to try to play. And that's what most people, amateurs and professional, often that's what their experience is. And so what this brings, this idea of, rather than allowing the mind to control everything and taking me quickly overwhelmed by everything, it puts me in a space of absolute clarity. And what agrees with that space gets in.
What agrees with that space.
Yeah, if I'm practicing something, if I'm practicing 8 bars and it takes me out of the space, I try practicing 4 bars.
Okay.
I'm a little more in the space. I'm practicing 2 bars, I'm a little more in the space. I may practice this bar and I'm really in the space. That will change your playing. 5 pages of skimming won't change your playing. So this is one of the things. And one of the things I also urge everybody is, after each repetition, take your hands off the instrument. This is one of the most powerful things I found. And then when you come back, you feel fresh. When you keep your hands on there, you tend to build up a tension that you're not even aware of. If you keep taking your hands off, the piano will flirt with you. Say, but what about that sound? Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I'm also done again. What? Oh, come back. And what happens is, no matter what you play, there's no reason to like that, but it sounds beautiful. Because, first of all, my mind is only focused on one thing. Delicious. And then I'm done.
So when you are detaching, when you're doing this, when you do a little phrase and then you stop for a minute, are you stopping and listening to that phrase that you just played and thinking about it, or are you're just?
I'm allowing my hands to go there. When I take my hands off, it feels like they're going in footprints that I already laid out.
You talked about that earlier today.
It's more of a spatial relationship. That's why blind people play so well. Because it's all spatial relationship.
On the physical
where
keyboard.
you are and what does it feel like. And then I regard the sounds coming out as more of a texture than a specific order of things.
A texture. So when you're saying texture, because this is something that I talk about a lot myself, or I just think a lot about on the piano, is just the physical feeling of the keys, which I guess that's kind of what. It's like a haptic.
Well, how would
thing
you know them if your expectations were interrupting the connection between your the fingers and the keys? All you hear is the expectations. But well.
So that's texture.
Well, no, texture is how I hear it.
How you hear it, okay.
Yeah, this is the physical sensation of playing.
I
have started a Christmas album, but I hadn't finished it yet. I'm going to do the entire Christmas album with both elbows.
Nice.
So it's like this. Nice, right?
That's amazing.
And when you don't have preconceptions of the sound, you can come to this quite unique stuff.
So it starts off kind of like just going to the very beginning of your effortless mastery, 4-step system. You guys need to check out the book, by the way, Effortless Mastery.
It starts with going into the space and playing simple single notes.
As a single, just like treating it as just a physical action.
Well, staying out of the mind. And as soon as the mind starts to analyze, appreciate, get excited, whatever, try to make it happen, you're training the mind to stay out of it, which has had some really far out results. Just that exercise, people will call me in the middle of the night and say, man, the piano, the trumpet played itself or whatever. I say, okay, great, do the first step tomorrow morning. Don't get excited about what you played. Because psychology plays such a part in this. What happens the night after a great gig? That's usually when you have a terrible gig. Because you're expecting the great gig from the other night. Instead of realizing what got you there was detaching the brain and going into that space, and now you think you're expecting a result, and of course that's the day it doesn't happen. That's sort of the psychology of it. A good example of that is shooting darts. Now you don't have to be a professional, but everybody has that moment where a split second before they know everything's right.
Oh,
the
sure.
arm is right.
Yeah.
And when they let it go, they know it's going in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Now, where does the next dart go? At the base of the wall.
Yeah.
Your attempt to recreate that creates an inhibited action, which it never works.
Yeah.
So the first step is individual notes. The second step is moving around the instrument.
Yeah.
Now I'm letting my fingers make choices, but it's my fingers that are making the choices.
Yeah.
It's almost like, and I like to use the analogy of a Ouija board. Whenever somebody puts their hand on a Ouija board, they're convinced that some other force is moving it.
Yeah.
And so with that mindset, indeed, some other force is moving it. I don't know what it is, but it's not their conscious mind.
Right.
Unless someone says, should he come home with me? Should she come home with me? And then tries to move their hand towards the yes. I can understand that. But otherwise, you're really following, seeing where it's going, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. In fact, I'm using all my conscious facilities to talk to you right now. So right now, my hands are just going kind of where they want to go.
Yeah.
This is the second step. Choices are being made, but they're being made by the spatial instincts.
Yeah.
The instincts towards spatiality of my hands. Now, immediately you get excited about that music because whatever music comes out without us intellectually controlling immediately gets us excited.
Yeah.
And if that happens, drop your hands.
Right. Yeah. Huge amount of discipline required in this sort of
thing. Now, the third, but you learn it in the first step, you expand it in the second step. Now you apply it to something you know.
Okay.
Now I know, I really know this, right? So I'm not getting caught up trying to do something special. I'm letting my hands play it. So the third step is playing something specific, but you have to know it so well that you can take what you've learned in the first two steps and not be part of it.
Yeah.
So what? At this level, you can sink deep into the things you know. It's very interesting. If you want to see how the mind gets in your way, pick something like this. And see how long you can do this without expectations. How long is it before your mind's going, okay, where should I go?
Yeah.
And you lost it. But a tranquil mind can do this all day.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not sure how to do that, pull out a book and read the whole book while you do it.
Yeah.
Or watch Netflix. I always recommend The West Wing.
Yeah. That one works.
But I mean, there are better ways of doing it. Like in the King's Speech, but there are better ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Or ways that build consciousness, like just focus on a spot on the wall, or focus on your heart. The thing about this kind of sound, it's got a lot of heart-opening potential.
Yeah.
But not if your mind is interfering, trying to decide where are we going from here.
Yeah.
Or referring to some musician that played like this, and now I had to build a piece that has the same aspects of that player.
Sure.
And all this like shallow mental noise.
Yeah.
See, the space is like, I have an image I like to share of it. If you were sitting on the floor of the ocean, and for the purposes of this, it's quiet, it's still, your body is part of all the water, so you don't even feel where your body begins or ends and the water begins, right? You're part of one fabric. And everything is colorful and everything is beautiful. Now, if you look up at the surface, you see things like driftwood, and you see beer cans and old underwear. It's passing. You see it, but it's not affecting you. You see it. So the floor of the ocean is the space, and the driftwood and underwear is your thoughts. Now, this is not original. This can be found in Buddhism, in Jainism, in communism. It can be found in anything, any ism, It can even be found in Christian mysticism. It can be found in the Kabbalah. What I have done accidentally, and it is really accidentally because I had no intention of doing it, I've correlated it directly to the consciousness of playing an instrument and how that plays out in an instrument. So using that thousands of year old concept, if I surrender to this sound, I start to disappear. And all there is the small movement of the hands going down and this sound that's replacing the flesh. can get like little trepidatious because you're trying to keep doing it,
Right.
and now you feel the insecurity of that.
Yeah.
No, just go with the downward motion, and every time the sound happens, let your ears drink. This is the inner joy that escapes most musicians and amateur musicians, which is why they do it, but they still have this sneaking feeling that something is missing. And the thing that's missing is you. Become part of it by not trying to dominate all of it. And that can apply anywhere from playing as a spiritual practice, this could be considered a spiritual practice, or just how you ingest one lesson rather than thinking about 8 lessons. And when you do something, there are some musicians that are like this. The slightest move. I know when I'd be listening to Wayne Shorter or Joe Zawinul, and I noticed that the slightest shift felt like the earth changed its axis. But people shift so much because of the restlessness of their mind that the whole thing starts to add up to nothing. Dribble. Or as they say in some of the scriptures, dust at the elephant's feet. Thoughts. I wish I could do it in my life. I mean, I'm a raving lunatic, neurotic mess. Okay, so nobody should get the wrong impression. But in music, I have a pretty easy understanding about it.
I think you got it here, man.
It's better for me to feel the space than it is for me to play well. That's a very mature decision. Because it starts to get, why do we play? Most people, it's for some form of narcissism. It's somehow we attach our value of what we are as humans to how we play, which is a sin, by the way. If there is such a thing as sin, attaching your value as a human, you know, in the Kashmir Shaivism or Hindu or whatever, I don't even know what title to put it, they think, of course, reincarnation, that a human birth is the result of numerous incarnations and great, great merit to have attained a human birth. So to me, to value that human birth by something as insignificant as how you play a musical instrument is a sin. You dig?
I certainly do.
I'm gone. If you want to talk to me, I'm in the green room right now. I'm actually looking at Netflix. You know, you can't get West Wing from Canada.
Oh man,
it's not on Netflix.
We gotta get you.
What's up with that? Well, anyway, you got the idea. So.
Okay, so before we wrap it up,
because
we do have to wrap this, unfortunately. How does everyone online find out more about this book? We got Effortless Mastery.
Effortless Mastery you can get at Amazon or anything.
And there's a 20th edition you were just talking about.
Yeah, they're out of them now.
Okay.
It's now the 21st year. So
21st year now, so we're in the future. I have
a YouTube channel.
So how do we find that?
Also on my
just
name, YouTube channel. I don't even know how you find a YouTube channel, but I have one.
We'll link you.
And a lot of my lessons are there. The Effortless Mastery Institute, I'm the artistic director of at Berkeley. And what I'm trying to do is take this into a new paradigm for music education and possibly affect education.
Que maravilha que é tudo isso, é uma maravilha. Olha só, esse é o primeiro episódio. Eu quero encerrar dizendo que a gente deve buscar praticar tudo isso, ficar naquele nosso espaço, encontrar, aceitar os sons, praticar, enfim, todos os dias um pouco. Volta lá no vídeo, lê de novo algumas passagens, pratica de novo, dá um tempo para você absorver e mudando, né? Absorvendo essas informações. Eu falo por experiência pessoal, né? Como o Kenny falou e mostrou, né? É um processo mesmo de reprogramação mental. Eu proponho também o seguinte, olha só, você vai praticando esses 3 passos até o próximo episódio, né? Essa segunda parte que eu vou fazer daqui a uns 3, 4 dias, não vai demorar. Aí você já vai estar bem preparado para absorver o conteúdo que vem aí. Olha, próximo episódio da pesada, outra ferramenta demais do Kenny Werner, que é harmonia aleatória, outro assunto interessantíssimo. A gente vai transcender aqui com a quantidade de possibilidades sonoras. Bom, pessoal, é isso aí. Se você curtiu esse nosso episódio de hoje, então curte aí, aperta o like, compartilha tudo isso, espalha, põe no fluxo da web. Dúvidas, críticas, recados, bate-papo, manda tudo através dos comentários para esse nosso canal, que também vai seguindo o fluxo, vai se espalhando pelo esse imenso abismo digital que é a internet. Mais uma vez, um grande abraço e até uma próxima.